Hey y'all, and welcome to the new set. It's still coming along. I'm gonna get some posters on this wall. We're gonna fill out the space a little bit better, but hey, you know what? I'm happy to be here. I put these shelves up, super proud of myself. So this is where I'm gonna be doing videos from here on out, since I moved, in case you missed my last video. I'm excited to start this off with such a positive box office report. Now, I don't wanna go on for too long here. I wanna keep it as short and sweet as possible, but really pack a punch with the content that I'm giving you here. So I'm gonna talk about 4 key stories this week and then run through a couple of other things, so we're hopefully in and out within 10 minutes. In case you're new to the channel or you haven't seen one of my box office videos before, I tend to geek out over this kind of stuff, but I mean, I just love these numbers. They are a huge indicator of what we can expect from our movies in the future. But you know what? We're gonna kick this off with a punch here. Creed 3, massive weekend for that film. Creed 3 opened up to over $58 million, which is the best of the franchise. Now, if you look at the opening for Creed 1 and Creed 2, on paper, it looks to be on par with what it's done in the past, but what's important to note is the last 2 Creed movies opened up on Thanksgiving weekend, so it needed those 4 or 5 days in order to hit the low 60, high 50 figure. As if you look at the actual 3-day value, both of those movies ended up in the mid-30s. But here, it opens up at the beginning of March. There's no Rocky Balboa in the movie. It's Michael B. Jordan's first movie directing, and it's basically the first film where it's like, this is Michael B. Jordan's vehicle. We'll see if people want to come out and see it. This movie is a resounding success. It's right there on $60 million, and the budget was only $75. And to me, this means a few different things. One, that Michael B. Jordan is a huge star and he's bankable. Now, I know everyone knows who Michael B. Jordan is, but let's be honest with ourselves. How many movies do we really know Michael B. Jordan from where he's not playing Eric Killmonger or Adonis Creed? It's not that many. The dude is very picky about his projects, so as a result, he's not in a ton of movies a lot. Now, whenever he is in a movie, he's very good in it. I mean, just look at Just Mercy a few years ago. And like I said, this is his first directing gig, so you know, he's starring in this movie, he's directing it. This is Michael B. Jordan's vehicle. And apparently, people are willing to go to the theater to go see this dude. So what this means in the future is, I bet we see Michael B. Jordan get more leading roles in some bigger movies if he wants to do that. He's at a point in his career where he can do anything he wants, but I would not personally be surprised if in a couple of years, we see Michael B. Jordan popping up in more movies that aren't Black Panther, aren't Creed. And then also, we will see him in the director's chair again, because not only was this movie successful, but it was actually good. Now, I haven't been able to go out and see the movie this week, but apparently it's being very well received. It has an 87% on Rotten Tomatoes, and everyone that I've spoken to that's seen the movie seems to like it a lot. Now, I don't know if he's gonna want to direct the next iteration in the Creed franchise, because we're definitely getting Creed 4 at this rate, but this is not the last movie we see him direct, because he made the studio money, and he delivered a good movie. Now, the other big thing to take away from this is Sylvester Stallone was not in this film. This is the first film in, I guess, the Rocky Creed franchise now, where he just wasn't there, and not only is he just not in the movie, but there is some bad blood going on behind the scenes. I'm not here to talk about the drama or anything, but this was gonna be a huge movie to see, okay, do we need Rocky for this franchise, or can we just give it to Adonis Creed? And apparently, we just don't need Rocky anymore. Now, I'm a big fan of the Rocky franchise. I'm a big fan of Sylvester Stallone. It hurts my heart that there's apparently some bad blood there. Hopefully, they can repair those relationships and we can get them back together. But for now, it looks like we could get a Creed 4 again with no Rocky. Hopefully Creed 2 wasn't the last time that we've seen Sylvester Stallone play the character, but for now, it looks like the franchise can continue forward without him. So Creed 3 is a massive success, so let's go ahead and start talking about a movie that's not experiencing the same level of success, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Ant-Man 3 finished its 3rd week in theaters at the number 2 slot, making $12 million. Now, I took a bit of a break from the channel, so I haven't discussed its box office woes, I guess if you want to say that, on the channel before, but I mean, if you guys are watching this video, you're probably someone who's in the know about Ant-Man and the Wasp. It has severely underperformed. Last week, it dropped, I think, almost 70%, which was the largest percentage drop in a second weekend for any Marvel movie ever, which, you know, isn't surprising because the movie isn't being well received, you know. Anybody out there that says, oh, it's a Marvel movie, it's going to be very financially successful no matter what, turns out, you gotta make a good movie. I would have a hard time believing that this movie doesn't break even, But the fact that we're even having that conversation should show you that this is very serious. Marvel, I guarantee you, right now, the executives are scrambling to figure out what to do. They've already indicated that they're reshuffling the deck a little bit. You know, Bob Iger's back in the CEO chair for Disney, at least for a limited period of time. They're pushing stuff back, so they're already trying to make moves to make sure that they are in a better position in the future, but that's a story for another video. Now, I wanted to try to put this into context as to how bad this is for this film. So this is the third Ant-Man movie. I went back and I looked back on the past two Ant-Man films that opened to substantially lower numbers. I gotta look at my phone here to make sure I get it all right. So the first Ant-Man movie opened up to like Creed 3 numbers at $58 million. Not surprising, you know, who's gonna go see Ant-Man? Probably not $200 million worth of people. And Ant-Man 2, or I guess Ant-Man and the Wasp, opened up to $75 million. Now, those are both lower to where Ant-Man 3 opened, but we gotta compare third weekend numbers here. In its third weekend, Ant-Man 1 made just under $13 million, and Ant-Man 2 made $16 million. So here we are with the third movie in a franchise, big villain. It's not having the same sustained success as the other two, and it's even worse because it opened up to over $100 million, which is the best of the Ant-Man franchise up to this point. You know, you don't have to be a scholar to understand that if you are doing a franchise, you want to see the numbers do this, not do this. You know, the Creed franchise is going up. Ant-Man 3, the fact that it's sitting around the same third weekend as the past two, that's not good. That's not good at all. And it's even worse for Marvel because this is what they were kicking off Phase 5 with. So Ant-Man 3 right now, not doing so hot, unfortunately. Then on a positive note, Cocaine Bear only dropped 51% in its second weekend. You know, it didn't open to $200 million or anything, but it opened up to like $23 million. So it made a solid $11 million. I believe their budget was around $30. So I would have to look at the worldwide numbers, but they should be breaking even around this point or maybe getting a little bit of profit. I thought the movie was good for the most part. You know, it's not perfect. It was a little slower than what I expected it to be, but whenever this movie wants to go insane, it is crazy. So good for Cocaine Bear there. Let's talk about Guy Ritchie's new movie, Rue de Guerre? Operation Fortune? Yeah, whatever it is. Operation Fortune, unfortunately, didn't open up to spectacular numbers, and it made $3.6 million in its opening weekend. Or excuse me, I just checked my numbers. It opened up to $3.16 million over the weekend at the 7th slot in the weekend box office. For comparison, I looked back on what The Gentleman did, Guy Ritchie's last movie that opened up in January of 2020, and that movie opened up to $10 million. It's very unfortunate. I've heard that it's a good movie. It doesn't have like critical acclaim numbers right now, but you know, you get a Guy Ritchie movie who's a acclaimed director for the most part. You get a Guy Ritchie movie starring Jason Statham, huge action star, and Aubrey Plaza, who everybody loves. She's great in The White Lotus, who everyone loves, and it only opens up to $3 million. You want a little bit more than that. Now, don't get me wrong, I wasn't expecting the world out of this movie. I really hadn't seen any marketing out there for it, so it wasn't gonna make like even $10 million, but you want to see it do more than $1,400 per theater in its opening weekend. Yeah, unfortunately, this looks to be a movie that's probably gonna drop out of the top 10 next week. It's not really gaining a lot of traction, and we can probably expect it on Netflix in 2-3 months. But that's gonna do it for the box office breakdown this weekend. Thank you so much for watching the video, and stay tuned for more where the background gets a little bit more filled out over here. Subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you want more, and I'll see you next time.